From the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Welcome back to KPIX 5 this morning. Time now is 6:30. I'm Melissa Kane.
Good morning. I'm Devin Fehely.
And new this morning, storm damage is going from bad to worse in eastern Africa. At least 5 people are confirmed dead, the result of a major cyclone that's been dumping rain on the country of Mozambique since Thursday. Houses have begun to collapse, and rescuers are desperately trying to help people who are trapped by rising floodwaters in the city of Pemba. Now, even more rain is forecast over the next few days, and there are concerns that rivers could burst their banks and leave large areas underwater. United Nations official told the Reuters news agency that some villages have been entirely wiped out.
A man is in custody accused of opening fire with an assault rifle at a synagogue in San Diego County. 1 woman is dead and 3 people are injured. The shooting happened yesterday morning in the city of Poway. 3 people remain hospitalized, but their injuries are not considered life-threatening. Authorities identify the suspect as John Ernest. Ernest turned himself in shortly after that shooting. A manifesto signed by John Ernest was published online yesterday. The writer described plans to kill Jews and referred to himself as an anti-Semite and white supremacist.
We're collecting digital evidence, and we're aware of his manifesto, which we're in the process of reviewing to determine its validity and authenticity.
While the San Diego County shooting is prompting security concerns at some synagogues here in the Bay Area.
It just seems like it's risky to go to synagogue now, although that's not going to deter me.
I think it's horrible that there are people out there in this world that would, attack a place of worship, especially when people are out there praying.
The San Jose, San Francisco, and Oakland police departments are among those who have announced that they're increasing patrols at places of worship.
Now, in the manifesto, he describes Jews as evil and says he could not sit idly by. Now, he begins the letter imagining what his friends and family would say about his actions, writing, quote, "To my family and friends, I can already hear your voices. How could you throw your life away? You had everything. You had a loving family. You had great friends. You had a church. You were doing well in nursing school." The manifesto also points to the New Zealand and the Pittsburgh mosque shootings for inspirations for his attack in Poway. Ernest also claims responsibility for an arson at a mosque in Escondido about a month ago, and deputies have confirmed they are investigating him as a suspect in that case as well. Now, the deadly shooting in Poway happened exactly 6 months after the Tree of Life synagogue massacre in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And last night, more than 100 people turned out to hold a vigil. They sang and they prayed together, and they vowed to take some type of action to combat hate. And the mayor of Pittsburgh also reached out to Poway's mayor to send his condolences.
Now, meanwhile, President Trump offered his sympathies to the victims during a rally with supporters in Wisconsin.
Tonight, America's heart is with the victims of the horrific synagogue shooting. Our entire nation mourns the loss of life, prays for the wounded, and stands in solidarity with the Jewish community.
The president also reached out to Governor Gavin Newsom. Last night, Newsom posted on Twitter, appreciated the call from the president, working with state, local, and federal officials on today's horrific shooting. We must all call out hate against any and all communities wherever it lives. The FBI has opened a federal hate crime investigation against Isaiah Peoples. He is the Iraq war veteran accused of running down 8 pedestrians Tuesday in Sunnyvale. Police said Friday that they believe that Peoples targeted his victims because he believed that some of them were Muslim.
And in Seattle, 4 people were killed after a crane collapsed. Now, 2 of the people killed were crane operators, and 2 others were inside their cars when the crane smashed down on their vehicles. Firefighters say that 3 other people, including a mother and a baby girl, were wounded and taken to a hospital.
I saw people running from the interstate, and I knew something was wrong. And that could have been me, because I was going to go to the grocery store, and I normally go to QFC. I would have gone off that way, and that could have happened to me.
Now, Seattle has recently seen a boom in construction. As of January, there were about 60 construction cranes being used in the city. And happening today, one of the many 2020 presidential candidates is making a campaign stop in the Bay Area. Democrat Beto O'Rourke, a former congressman from Texas, will hold a town hall meeting here. It's set for 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Irish Cultural Center in San Francisco. Now, O'Rourke began his California campaign swing in Southern California yesterday. He held a rally at Los Angeles Trade Technical College where he focused on immigration reform.
Never again is another child put in a cage, sent to a foster care home while that mom is deported back to her country of origin, the very place from which she fled. Not only must we reunite all of them, but we must rewrite our immigration laws in our own image to reflect communities like this one here in Los Angeles, like El Paso, like this country.
O'Rourke will conclude his California visit in San Diego on Tuesday.
Democratic presidential candidate Senator Elizabeth Warren says she has a student loan forgiveness plan that could actually boost the economy. Here's how it would work. Households making less than $100,000 a year would see $50,000 of student debt canceled. Households making between $100,000 and $250,000 would see some debt relief based on how much they make. Now, Warren's plan would also prevent the IRS from taxing the debt forgiveness as income. Private school loans would be eligible for the forgiveness plan. And here's the kicker. Tuition would be free for public colleges. Now, how would all of this get paid for? Warren's revenue plan calls for a 2% tax on families making more than $50 million a year and a 3% tax on those making more than $1 billion.
You built that great fortune protected by police and firefighters that all of us help pay to support. So you made it big, good for you. But here's the deal. When you make it big, 2 cents, so that everybody else gets a chance to make it in America.
Now, some economists say that Warren's plan could spur economic growth, mainly because graduates would have more money to spend on homes and cars and other projects rather than paying back their student debt.
And the Marine Mammal Center is urging beachgoers to stop taking seal selfies. Wildlife officials say that the seals need their space, especially the pups. They are very vulnerable. Now, this message comes as northern elephant seals and harbor seals are giving birth to pups along North Coast beaches.
Changes could be on the way for San Francisco's beleaguered Muni transit system. Recent problems include a woman dragged by a Muni train after her hand got stuck in a door. And there have been 2 defective shear pins, the piece of equipment that connects one train car to another. Supervisor Aaron Peskin says he's spoken with colleagues about changing the transit agency's board to make it more responsive to the public.
It's time to have an oversight body that asks the tough questions, that doesn't just rubber stamp what staff brings before it. It's time to have strong leadership, and it's time to have accountability. And ultimately, who's accountable to the voters? Their elected officials.
This past Friday, a Muni train mishap tore down more than 1,000 feet of overhead wire and other equipment. The damage caused major delays for much of the day. In response to that, San Francisco Mayor London Breed posted on Twitter, "Yes, we need to invest in Muni in our system. Yes, we need to expand and improve our fleet, but what happened is unacceptable."
And you'll want to give yourself a little extra time if you're taking BART through Contra Costa this weekend. The Concord and the Pleasant Hill stations are closed for track work. Now, free buses are being provided to shuttle riders between the stations. You can find more details on our website, kpix.com. Meanwhile, regulars at One Sonoma Winery are raising a glass as it prepares for its final pours.
The Sonoma News reports the Ravenswood Winery will close next month. Staff will stop taking reservations on May 17th. Known for its Zinfandel wines, Ravenswood opened its tasting rooms in 1991. Now, earlier this month, the brand was purchased by Modesto-based E&J Gallo. But it's not clear what will happen to Ravenswood's 13-acre property and tasting room.
It's going to look gray out there for the first part of today, at least through the morning. But by the time we get into the afternoon, just like yesterday, blue skies coming out. We'll be in the mid-70s inland today, mid-60s for the Bay, and stuck in the 50s all day at the coast, where the clouds are never really going to clear entirely for today. They will over the next few days, though. A little bit of a warming trend by the time we get into early next week.
All right. Thanks for joining us.